This is the P&L for May. Have you guys ever read a P&L before? It's pretty simple stuff. So you have your total sales. That includes the Groupon sales.
We've been doing a lot of
A lot of the revenue from the Groupon hasn't hit the account yet. Because we were actually closer to, if you were to go into the point of sale system and look up the monthly revenue, it says we did about 16,000. So sales is just sales. That's money coming in. And then you have your cost of goods sold, or known as COGS. That's our oil, filter, tires. Basically, what is the core of the business? What if we took away, the business would fall apart? We can't do an oil change without an oil filter. Can't do an oil change without oil. And then tires are a core part of what this location does. So then you have your expenses, and expenses is basically everything else. So we're treading right now, and there's a few things that kind of stick out to me that I think we should have a conversation about. So looking at the expenses, or looking at anything, does anything jump out at you, or do you guys have any questions about anything on here that looks like weird or like not correct?
Okay, so this is adding up the total cost and then the expenses, and then that's taken from the 15,000.
Yeah, so you take the 8,200 and the 7,300 added together, and that's the money that goes out. Because really, at the end of the day, you have two sides of the paper. You have money coming in, and you have money coming out. And then, if there's more on this side than this side, you lose money. If there's more on this side than this side, you make money. You guys want to take a shot at anything? Or do you have questions about anything? Because there's really only one thing that really sticks out to me.
Oh, the negative.
No, well that's, one thing to keep in mind here is actually this probably isn't negative, because all that cash hasn't been all that cash that's in there right now, besides 5 days, is actually May's money. So because I can't get out here as often, if I had deposited that money before I ran the May P&L, that would be all this cash that I'm going to deposit is going to be reflected in June's P&L. So we could do a quarterly P&L, and that would be a more accurate reflection, because I don't know how much money is in here, maybe $1,000, maybe $2,000, and then that puts us in the positive, a lot.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind.
Okay.
And these are just categories, so there's stuff within the categories. So every time there's a purchase, I have to categorize it to keep our books.
I got you.
So nothing. Nothing.
No, I don't see.
So the only thing that really sticks out to me is the utilities.
That's the only thing I was gonna say.
$1,200 for 1 month worth of utilities. Our electricity bill was almost $600.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a lot for here or not.
So, and I'm guessing the previous owners never really shared anything with you, so you probably don't really know much.
No idea.
So we need to keep the lights off downstairs. We need to keep off the lights basically everywhere except for now that it's daylight from open to close. We should have the lights off pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, we don't need them
Do the
right
bays
there.
separate the lights, or is it just one
I think
switch?
it's just all one.
There's a switch out here that I usually try to keep off as long as it's not dark. But there's
Because we might even want to just are those plugged into the ceiling, or are they hardwired into the ceiling?
They're hardwired.
Okay. We might even want to just take the bulbs out of.
Do you want this? I could think I could try.
You know what? I might just ante up the thing is, so we spent a lot of money. Me and Max spent a lot of money, and it put us in a little bit of a hole because we wanted to get this the ship righted.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of debt right now because we put some money in. We weren't intending on putting anything into the business, but things were so slow we had to put money into the business to get it to turn around.
Yeah.
And I think we're on a good trajectory right now, especially with the car count, which we'll get into. But so the $600 a month utilities, like my other stores, the buildings are similar, and I pay maybe $120 a month. The other one, also part of utilities, was Verizon, and we're getting some money back on that because when I switched us over to Verizon, they had to give us new equipment, like you guys know.
Yeah.
And they charged us for the new equipment, but when I was on the phone with him that day here, they promised us they were going to waive the fee for the new equipment, which was like $300.
Okay.
So we're getting some of that back.
But yeah, that $600 bill, that's pretty crazy. For
Yeah.
the
The travel is on days when I come here, I pay for my gas with the money from the business, but it's only the reason it's $53 is because I have the Focus and it's like $25 and $25 coming and going.
What about like job supplies?
So job supplies is stuff from like Home Depot. This 150
Okay.
pretty much represents the sub pump, and I'm sure we bought some miscellaneous stuff from
probably the stuff.
the new wrenches and stuff like that. Office supplies and software. I think that's a combination of paper towels, stuff for the coffee stuff. QuickBooks, we have a monthly subscription so we can keep books. It's much more expensive to hire a bookkeeper, so I just do it myself. Bank charges and fees will probably go away because I have a way to get around that, but
Is that just from like direct deposits or something?
no, the bank charges and fees are from Wells Fargo because we don't keep a minimum balance, because on certain days when rent comes out and payroll happens to be the next day, the bank wants it to be a daily average balance of I think like $2,500. So if it ever goes below that, then they hit you with the fee.
This is pretty nice. Though. I've never seen none of this.
The interest paid is we're carrying a balance on the credit card because we put all the money into the business. So that's the interest on the credit card from carrying that balance. The rent and taxes and licenses is supposed to be split up actually. The taxes are about $1,400, and then there's another $1,000 in there that we sent to Danny and Ron for the basically the business.
Do you have to all keep doing that until?
For 5 years, I believe. We'll probably try to pay them off before then to just outright own it. So that I thought it was a pretty good month.
Our card numbers have been going up on that.
Right, and actually that was the next conversation I wanted to have with you guys. You did 380 cars in May, and you did about 16,000 in revenue. My Dillsburg store did 329 cars in May, and did 16,000
That's what he was saying.
in revenue.
More cars,
the-
but less profit.
The Chicago store did 350 cars in May, which is 30 cars less than you guys, and they did 20,000 in revenue. And can you imagine what an extra $4,000 could do for the store?
Yeah.
So one thing I want to focus on is more needs-driven sales, especially since a lot of the cars that come through here do have higher mileage. I don't want to be aggressive like Jiffy Lube. I don't want to be like 75,000 miles and up. We're offering high mileage. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially that's just ridiculous. But what I do want to do is if you see a car, especially since a lot of time we pull them in, because there's a lot of people that don't like driving over the pits. But if you hear something, notice something, or if you're downstairs, communicate with each other. If you see that there's seepage on the oil pan gasket, might not be a bad idea to offer the stabilizer additional $10, because the high mileage, first of all, Do you know what the difference is between conventional oil and high mileage oil?
Yeah, got all additives for the
It's
seal.
got extra zinc. It's got
Okay.
it's got extra zinc. That's all it is. So
From the carbon buildup. Carbon buildup.
right, and it seals the bearings on the cam bearings.
Okay.
So a better alternative and a better margin alternative is to do a conventional oil change minus 1 quart plus 1 bottle of the stabilizer. I'm gonna get you a case of Lucas because Lucas is easier to sell.
People know the name.
Each bottle of Lucas costs us about $9, so it'd be like a $20 add-on. The blue ones, the high-tech stabilizers, $10 add-on. So I want, especially if you see that odometer's over 100,000 miles, just like make double sure. If the car is immaculate, we're not going to ever pressure anyone into anything. Otherwise, we just become a clone of Jiffy Lube, and that's counterproductive.
Yeah.
Now, with the other stores, do they got like flushes? Are they selling? They're blowing them out like that? I mean,
So
that's a big margin.
So the only flush you have right now is these ones, right?
Yeah, that's since we don't have no more tranny.
The additive flush.
Yeah.
You guys know how to do the full service flush, the one that's like $49.99.
Is that the one where you drain the oil, put it in, run it for
New
about
filter.
7-10
You have to put a new
minutes,
filter,
and then
drain it again, and then do the oil change on top of it.
yeah, we don't have none of that.
Yeah, I can order that. I just know with my Harrisburg store, which is a similar demographic to here, kind of like blue collar workers.
Yeah.
That one's easy to sell because you literally just before you even do the oil change, you just add it in there, and it cleans up a little bit of the carbon on the spot. Whereas the full service engine flushes, they do a really good job.
Yeah.
Like they do a really good job. And we actually just started using a new company. They sent us some samples to the Dillsburg store, and they can sell them pretty easily.
How much are those ones? $50 usually?
$49.99. The bottle costs us like $15, but we have to use 2 filters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you change the new filter twice.
Yeah.
You put on it.
Yeah. So
I mean, maybe if we had one, we could keep. If you got one,
I'll send you some. I can send you some, and just start adding it to your Monday list if you go through them. Because Chicago does, and to get back to why Chicago did 30 cars less than you, but did $4,000 more.
Yeah.
They do at least 2 engine flushes a day,
Okay.
and they do a good job of just presenting the customer with the option, and it sells itself.
Yeah.
Because we definitely don't want to get it too. If you ever go onto Yelp or Google reviews, #1 complaint with quick lubes everywhere.
People asking for it.
Pushing.
Yeah.
Exactly. People don't like to be pushed.
I know. I always hear people say they like to come here because we don't have
Right.
to do anything.
Now, our air filter sales are lower than the other stores as well. I want to see you present it as, and not to forget that this is a one-time purchase for the next 25,000 miles. Most people will probably be getting a different car by the time they would need the next one. So you can present it in that way. Like, hey, we can change this here today. We have it. It's good for 25,000 miles. Our prices are half that of AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts, literally.
Yeah.
So, and most of the time they'll take it. Now, if we don't have it, the approach I've always taken is, hey, we don't have it right now. If I place the order today, I'll have it by 3 business days later. Friday, I'll have it by Friday. If you want to pay for it right now, I'll have it for you. Swing in, we'll install it for free. If they still say no, say, well, if you decide to pick one up at Walmart or something, feel free to swing by, we'll install it for free. So even if they don't buy it from us,
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time.
we'll still install
If we
it
don't
for
end
we'll
up
still
having
install
it.
it for free.
Nice.
Because most like dealerships, I know when I worked in Shorty, they charge.
They charge for everything.
With the air filters, I take a little bit of the blame with ordering because I didn't know how you like to order. So when I was putting them down, we were out. We only got one at a time.
Gotcha.
So now, like when you told me the X's and 2
Times.
so I'm gonna try to get 2 because I was so used to ordering 2 or 3 at a time, and then I didn't know how you ordered it. So like every time we would do one, that pretty popular car, I may not have it for another week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I was able to sell one of that when we do 1 million Hondas or
Right.
Kias. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, just
I'll get that on.
Keep
on that.
note, like I do have to rely on you quite a bit
Yeah.
because each location has a different core car. Like Hondas and Toyotas, obviously, it doesn't matter if you live in Malibu or you live in you know
We get a
downtown
lot of Kias,
Baltimore.
too.
Yeah, Kias, Hondas, and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll say that was my fault just because I didn't know how
No,
the ordering was a lot different than what I was used to. You know, so I didn't know
yeah,
how.
it's a learning process. So, but I mean, gosh, we've been doing this for 5 months now.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah.
So,
And
and
I
we're already,
feel-
and I would like to think that you guys think that things are a lot better in the last 5 months than they've been in a long time.
Everybody always asks me like, "Oh, how's the new owner?" I said, honestly, he's hands on. Like he'll come down, he'll do everything with us.
Yeah, I never even met
Keep it
Ron.
going. So you know, they would just pop in like once every couple months, maybe.
Yeah, they didn't really care how things
Right.
were going. They just wanted to get money.
So this brings me to the filters. I am embarking on a little journey of my own. I am creating my own line of filters,
Yeah.
and I'm going to sell them to myself. I think that I have enough stores now that the volume allows me to buy, because when you make your own product, the toughest thing with making your own product is getting enough business to justify the first order, because a lot of times you need a machine that is specific to your request in order for the manufacturer to justify
Yeah.
to go out of their way to make something called private label. So I am going to do a line of filters. It's just going to be the same logo, but instead of 10-minute oil change, it's going to say performance filtration. It's just going to say cost of oil, performance filtration. Hopefully down the line I can even get my own line of quarts of oil and as well,
Yeah.
and pull a Lucas and just be an above average customer service and product company. So I'm hashing that out right now. And so what will happen is right now we piecemeal our orders. So like, and Service Champ is great. Service Champ allows us, because of the online portal, Service Champ allows me to go in and place like a $70 order and they'll send you exactly what we need. And we're spending $70 a week every week for 52 weeks. If you take all those orders, and this is another added benefit, when you place a large order like that, your margin goes down too. Because when you buy stuff in massive bulk, they give you a volume discount. So our spin-on filters right now cost about $1.15 per filter. By not only am I getting a custom line of filters to help them build the brand, the price is going down to 90 cents a filter.
Wow.
That's up.
So,
times that
and
by
over
12, yeah.
times, you know, if each,
Quarter every time you change a filter.
right, times 6
300,
stores.
yeah.
So over the course of the year, and then obviously there will be sales online as well. I'll be trying to get them into Advance, and I'll be trying to get them into Joe Schmo's auto shop and dealerships, and I'll be on my computer 24/7 just trying to get the
pretty cool.
filters into as many places as possible. So
That'd be something to
Good
see at
idea.
AutoZone.
Yeah.
So, that being said, the ordering will be different, because all of a sudden, my garage is going to become a warehouse, because the minimum order is a
Pallets.
shipping container, and one shipping container is, I believe, 8 pallets.
Oh wow, wow.
So I'm going to need
100,000.
I'm going to need to stash those filters. Now, I'll keep some at my house. I'll keep some in Harrisburg. If I can rent a truck, I'll even keep some here. And that'll make it easy. But depending on what the situation is, when you place an order, I'm going to be mailing it to you or bringing it to you. So we'll just have to hash out ahead of time, like 5 to 10 business days leeway. Now, the other nice thing about this is I can give, if I have all the cases up front, I can just give you 10 cases of 4622s.
Yeah.
And then you don't, and then you won't, and when you get down to 5, you say, hey, I'm down to 5. And then that gives us so much time to worry about it.
Yeah.
But that's that. I think the filter thing is going to be cool. I think it's going to be a fun little project to see if it takes off. And this is one of those businesses is how hard you work is what you get out of it. And then since we're tying it in with the overall brands, the more stores we get, the more the filters will create brand recognition.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to start somewhere.
I mean, it's not a bad start either, because like you said, you're saving a quarter a filter.
Right.
Even with just that.
So right off the bat, like you're going the extra mile. Obviously, it's
Just
gonna
have to
be a lot more work on your
invest
part.
in
But
ones.
yeah, that's you figure how many stores you have. They do 300 plus a month. Times that by 5 or whatever stores you have. I mean,
Right.
It's a lot of money saved.
It will be a lot of money saved. It's definitely a win-win.
Little more
It's a
time for
win-win.
you.
It's a win-win tie situation, because once in a blue moon you're going to run to a customer that's going to say, what filters do you use?
Yeah.
And if it's not insert name brand here, they're going to say, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And even then,
I rarely
Say it's a brand off of Prime
They
Guard
usually
or a
just care
Pure
about the
Later.
oil, not the filter.
Right.
They just ask if we're like something.
the Chicago store for the longest time ran Pennzoil filters. And as you guys might know, the Pennzoil filters are bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we
Everybody-
switched to white, people noticed.
Yeah.
Customers weren't supposed to be in the work area, but I can't control what previous owners did, so that was kind of an obstacle for us at first. I also think it was a little upplayed. I think that the guys there were extra nervous about it, so they made it seem like it was a bigger problem than it was. Because I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
And it went from being a huge problem to I haven't heard a single person complain since, and it's been 9 months.
Yeah.
So that that's really it. You guys have any questions for me about any kind of change, anything?
Remember you were talking about them little cards that you wanted to make, put on people's cars?
Yes, I had those made. I didn't bring them, did I?
No, I haven't seen them.
Wish there was Staples around here. So I had I can show you. I had a card made. Let me shut this off because I.